Hey everybody, grab your sweatpants. It's time to do yoga. All right, so find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you, um, as we open practice. So today's practice is going to focus on aparigraha, which is non-attachment. It's one of the yamas and niyamas. Actually, it's one of the yamas. All right, so I'll ring the bell. And we're actually going to sit on our heels if that's comfortable. If that's not comfortable for you, you can just stay right where you are. Um, it's not particularly comfortable for me, so I use a block and a blanket to make it comfortable. Yeah. So find that comfort for you. Maybe that means sitting in a chair. Um, Maybe that means sitting on the floor. Or maybe you enjoy sitting on your heels. So wherever you are, settle in, close your eyes, tuning in to your body and your breath. And then bring your palms together at heart center as we begin to open our practice with a round of Om. Taking a big inhale and let it out. Now breathing in for Om. Good. Relax your hands, open your eyes. Actually, you're going to bring your hands back together and you're going to keep your pinky and thumbs together, but spread your fingers wide. This is called Padma Mudra. It is like making a lotus flower. So Padma means lotus, Mudra means seal. And this mudra inspires purity and perseverance by representing the lotus flower floating above the muddy waters of desire, fear, and attachment. So, Padma Mudra helps us as we gaze into our hands, into our mudra. So, it's helping us let go of those attachments and fears and then getting us closer to being our true selves, or bringing us closer to our true selves. So as you stare into your Padma Mudra, maybe you think of a fear or attachment that's been holding you back lately. And see if you can just envision yourself as the flower on top of those attachments and fears, blossoming and leaving, coming above all of those attachments and fears. So we'll hold our gaze, just breathing naturally, staring into our lotus flower. Imagining yourself rising above those muddy waters, releasing fear, releasing attachments, imagining the lightness of it. Take one more breath in And on an exhale, release the mudra. You can drop your hands down to your thighs. And we'll practice some 3-part pranayama. Durga pranayama or pranayam. The 3-part breath or Durga pranayam is inhaling through your belly, like it's making your belly pop out up into the rib cage, all the way into the chest. So, and on an inhale, it's like 1, 2, 3. On the exhale, it's the opposite direction. So you're exhaling out through your chest, out through your rib cage, out through your belly. And it might help to place your hand on your belly for this if you would like. So we'll practice a few rounds of our Durga pranayam. Maybe you close your eyes here if that's comfortable. And breathing in for 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 3, 2, 1. I'll guide you a couple more times. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 3, 2, 1. Continue on your own count. Try to make the breath as slow as possible. Continue for about 3 more breaths. And after your last exhale, just return to natural breath. Maybe open the eyes. On an inhale, sweep your arms up, gazing up. Maybe your palms come together. You can interlace your fingers. And then take your right hand, clasping it over your left wrist, and stretch over to your right. Your side body stretch. And then switch the clasp of the hands and stretch over to the left. And coming back to center, imagine you're climbing an invisible rope. So you just go back and forth, reaching for the rope, stretching the side. One more time. And release. Taking spinal twists. So rotate your torso to the right. Maybe your left hand comes on the outside of your right thigh. The right arm just extends behind you, gazing back towards your right shoulder. Big inhale. And exhale, release. Switching to the other side. Right arm comes across, maybe clasping onto the outside of your left thigh and your left arm behind you. Gazing over your left shoulder. Big inhale. And exhale, release. Make your way into tabletop, hands and knees. Removing any props. If you'd like to put a blanket under your knees for support, you can do that. So spreading the fingers wide, wrist extending out of your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips. And then drop your belly as you gaze up for Bithalasana, cow pose. Exhale, round your spine, Madhyasana, cat pose. Continue moving through cat and cow with your own breath. Maybe you stay where you are, or maybe you add a little flow to it, sitting toward your heels, and then coming up into Vitalasana, round your spine into cat, sitting toward your heels, coming up into Bhujangasana, and then into cow pose again. Essentially just moving a little bit more of your body. Let's do one more round. And then come back to center. I'm going to go back on my mat a little bit so I have space. So hips are going to stay where they are, and you're just going to walk your arms out coming into puppy pose. And maybe your chest or chin can drop down on the mat. Taking a big shoulder stretch here. And slowly make your way back to tabletop. Send your hips back into downward facing dog, tucking your toes. Take 3 breaths here, and any movement that you would like. Maybe pedaling out the feet. Or maybe finding stillness. Inhale, look forward and step your feet up between your hands. Forward fold. Uttanasana. On an inhale, sweep your arms out and rise all the way up. Bring your palms together. Bring them down by your heart. And then coming into mountain pose. Stepping at the top of your mat, we'll do some half sun salutations. So inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, mountain. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, swan dive down, head and neck are last to arrive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, mountain. Take a moment in mountain. Maybe adjusting your stance. Checking in with how you feel. Now's a good time to reflect on what attachments you have in your yoga practice. Are you attached to being able to do certain poses that you aren't ready for? Are you attached to the idea of getting deeper into a pose that you aren't ready for? See if in today's practice you can honor your body and only do those poses that you're ready for, that feel good, that don't bring pain or just too much discomfort. A little bit of discomfort is okay, but pain is never okay. On an inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Plant your hands, step your right foot way back. Lower the right knee. Adjust your stance here, and when you're ready, you can lift up. If you're not attached to the idea of having your arms up, you can bring your hands together at your heart. And just take some deep breaths here, allowing the right hip flexor to open up. Big inhale. Exhale, bring your hands back down and shift your hips back. Extend your left leg, coming into our half split, Ardha Hanumanasana. So here, if you're not attached to the idea of having to be closer to your leg and maybe more keeping your spine long, then stay here. If you can fold deeper without compromising your spine, feel free to do so. Take another deep breath. And then inhale, plant your left toes coming forward. Plant your hands and step back into plank. Lower your knees. Hug your elbows in as you lower down all the way to the floor. Inhale, lift the chest and chin. Bhujangasana, cobra pose. A couple breaths. Being light on the fingertips. Maybe you lift your fingers off the mat. On an inhale, press into your hands, coming back up to your tabletop. And then tuck your toes, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Inhale, look forward and step your right foot between your hands. Lower your left knee. Setting yourself up for Ardha Hanuman, no, sorry, for low lunge on the other side. When you're ready, you can come up, lift the arms up if that feels good. Or you can bring your palms down by your heart. Either way, you're stretching that left hip flexor. Take some deep breaths here. Big inhale. And then exhale, coming forward and making your way into Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Again, trying the half split without compromising the spine. So for me, that means staying here. If you can lower down and keep the spine long, then you're welcome to. Just trying not to be attached to a particular shape or how it should look. There's no right or wrong way to do yoga. There's only safe and unsafe. And when you're ready, plant that right foot coming forward. Tuck your left toes and step into Uttanasana. Just taking a couple breaths here. On an inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Rise up. Exhale, mountain. We're going to prepare to move into our Warrior One sequence. Inhale, lift your arms up, gaze up. Exhale, sweep your arms down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands and step your right foot back and out, preparing for Warrior One. And when you're ready, you can rise up. From here, sweep your arms back behind you. And then we're going to take some flows. Actually, we'll bring those arms back up so we'll flow with the arms. So inhale here. Exhale, sweep it back and out. Inhale, rise up, sweep it up. Exhale, sweep it back. One more inhale. And exhale. Stay here. And from here, you'll transition into Warrior Three. So lifting your right toes off the mat any amount. Keeping the right hip down. Breathe. Find your drishti. And then slowly lower that foot back down. Hands come down, coming back into downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. And then lower to your knees. Bring your big toes together, knees wide, child's pose. When you're ready, coming back into downward facing dog. Lift your right heel back behind you, three-legged dog. Option to bend the knee and rotate the hip. And then bring your hips back to neutral. Look forward and bring your right knee towards your hands, coming into plank. And then step the right foot forward. Left foot rotates back and down. Inhale, Warrior One. So here you might need to adjust a little bit. I always do. Inhale here. Exhale, sweep it back. Inhale up. Exhale, sweep it back. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Option to stay here or come into Warrior Three. The left toes can be lifted off the mat any amount. So maybe you're here. Lower that left hip. Breathe, find your drishti. And slowly stepping forward into mountain. Pausing here. Try to slow the breath. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. And we'll step step into downward facing dog. Raising the left leg back behind you. Option to open the hip. And then return your hips to neutral. Coming back into down dog, lower to your knees, your chest, your chin. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Take some breaths here. On an inhale, slowly press into tabletop. And then come onto your seat. Make sure this is still working. So you may want a folded blanket for some seated postures. All right, we're going to start with head to knee pose. Scoot some props out of my way here. Extending both legs out in front of you. And then bend your right knee and let it fall out to the side. Shifting your torso over the left leg. Inhale. Exhale, fold any amount. You might find your shin, your ankle, or your toes. Again, not being attached to where you should be stretching and focusing on how it feels. Our bodies are different every day. You might have found that yesterday you could come all the way to your toes, but today you can only get to your ankle before it starts to feel painful. One more breath. And then on an inhale, slowly coming back out of it. And switch sides. So bringing your left heel up by your sits bones, rotate it out. Straighten keeping the right leg straight. Shift your torso over to that extended leg. Inhale. And then exhale, fold down any amount. You may also find that one side is more flexible than the other, and that's perfectly normal. Take some deep breaths. And then on an inhale, slowly coming back up. Bring the soles of your feet together like an open book for Baddha Konasana. You might find it helpful to put some blocks underneath your legs. It's just, if there's not enough support there. Sitting up nice and tall. This may already be a good stretch for you, but if not, you can hinge forward any amount. Continue with some deep breaths. What can you let go of in this moment? Maybe it's a thought that's not serving you. So breathe in, breathe out, and let go of that thought. And about 2 more breaths here. And slowly coming back up. Take any stretch that feels particularly good for you. I think a wide-legged forward fold is a really good way to, a really good pose to take after Baddha Konasana. I am not very flexible, so I like to stack a couple of blocks in the highest setting, and sometimes that's not even enough. I would like you to try to bring your head towards a prop. If you are very open, you might be able to come all the way down to the floor, or fold your arms and come down to that. So any prop that you need, maybe a chair in front of you, so that you can fold forward and release your forehead to something, because this triggers the nervous system to relax. So when your forehead is supported, it triggers your nervous system to relax. And close your eyes if you're not there already. And just take some deep breaths in. Honoring all that you were able to let go of and practice today. Slowly on an inhale, rising back up. Removing any props. So maybe bring your hands behind you, bending your knees, and just kind of sitting back a little bit and rotating your hips back and forth. Really taking any movement that feels good to you. All right, so take it. We're coming into cow face pose. So with our knees bent, we're going to take our right leg underneath the left and bring your toes back sort of down by your hips. And then the left leg is going to cross over that. So just do your best you can. I certainly do not look like someone in those magazines doing this, and that's okay. I still get the benefits. It might help to bring a prop to help support. So if you can figure out how that how that helps, go for it. For me, I guess it's not really working. That's okay. So from here, you can just sit up nice and tall. Might help to hold on to your legs. So option to stay here, just holding onto the legs, or you can take the arm position as well. So the right arm will come up and kind of tap yourself on your back. And then the left arm, wait, am I doing this right? No. I totally just blanked on my cow face arms. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is how we do it. So the right arm will come underneath the left. I'm sorry. And then lift your elbows up. So we're doing this wrong. The leg that's on top should be the arm on top, arm on the bottom. Okay, switch that around. Left arm comes underneath the right. I'm sorry. Obviously, I did not practice this enough. So we're coming into cow face with the arms and legs. In general, it's whatever leg is on top, that's the arm that's on the bottom. So that's what I had messed up. And if your hands can, if your palms can touch in this position, then you can do that. You can also just put your hands on your shoulders, like giving yourself a hug. So take a couple more breaths here. And then go ahead and relax your arms and extend your legs long. Maybe give them a little tap out. All right, so bend your knees again. So this time the left leg's gonna go underneath and right leg on top. You might need to adjust a little bit here. Use any props that feel good. So stay here, or if you want to add the cow face arms, our right leg is on top. So this time, right arm goes on the bottom, left on top, and clasp your palms if you can. Mine don't quite clasp. That's okay. And if it feels better to just leave your hands on your shoulders, you can do that. Remember, we're practicing non-attachment aparigraha here. So trying not to be attached to the idea that the palms need to come together or that the shape has to look like anything particular. We are not posing for an Instagram post, so we can just feel good in our bodies. Whenever that feels complete, release your arms, release your legs, and just rock side to side again, releasing your hips. And whenever you're ready, make your way onto your spine for some reclined poses, stretches. It might be helpful here to have a strap, so I'm going to grab mine. You don't have to have one, but let's see. If you have a yoga strap, go ahead and grab yours. You can also just use like a long sock or a towel for this, or nothing at all. So roll onto your spine and bend your left knee, but raise your right foot. Loop the strap around the sole of your right foot, just extending it up towards the sky. Maybe this feels good, or you can bring your toes closer to your head. We're going to hold each of these poses for a few breaths. So make sure you're comfortable. Transferring the strap just to your right hand if you're using one. Let that right leg fall out to the side. I'm a little constricted with space here. Normally it drops down a little bit more, but it doesn't necessarily come to the floor. I'm just going to bend my knee here to accommodate the space that I'm working with. Keeping your left hip grounded, you might place your left hand on your left hip. And then stretch your left leg along the mat and cross your right leg over your body, taking your right hand and taking your left hand, transferring the strap to your left hand. You can release it with your right and open your arm up for a spinal twist. Deep breaths here. Inhale, pull your knee towards your armpits for Apanasana, wind relieving pose. And release your strap. Release your right foot to the mat. Send your left leg high, wrapping the strap around the sole of the left foot. And take some deep breaths here. Feel free to bend your knee in this pose. Transferring the strap just to your left hand. Let your left leg fall out to the side. On this side, I can do it more appropriately, but you may not be able to see it. So just keep in mind that your left leg doesn't need to touch the ground, and most people it doesn't. So hover it a few inches above the ground. Keeping your right hand on your right hip to ground it. Extend your right leg long and cross the left over your body, transferring the strap just to your right hand. And bend your knee, squeezing your knee in towards your armpits. Apanasana, wind relieving pose on the left side. You can remove your strap and hug both knees into your chest, rocking side to side, massaging your low spine. Taking any movement that feels good before we settle into Shavasana, our final pose, the most important pose of the practice. So when you're ready, extending your legs along, feet falling open, bringing your arms out away from your body, getting as comfortable as possible, closing your eyes, taking a moment to scan the body to see if you're holding on to tension anywhere and see if you can let that tension go. Take a deep breath in, and on an exhale, release, letting everything go. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Slowly rolling to one side in the fetal position, symbolizing rebirth. Then gently pressing yourself up with your top arm into a seated position to close out practice. We'll close with an Om Shanti 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 for peace, peace, peace. Bringing your palms together at heart center. Big inhale for Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And I bow to you, the students, and the teachers, and the teachers' teachers, for this wonderful and ancient practice. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Thank you for joining. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.